Hello, I'm Jody from Tales of Cloth, and today we're stitching up the diamond star block from the Red Sky at Night quilt. So I've got all of my pieces basted because I've basted all the blocks for my quilt so that they're ready to sew. I use the block as a little pattern so that I can remember which way these pieces go. And I always like to, even though in the pattern it has diagrams for how to sew, look, I'm still doing this wrong, there we go, how to sew the pieces together, I still like to lay it out so that I find it easier to keep track. Now, as you can see, I'm having a bit of trouble because these pieces are directional, just like Bridal Bouquet. But once I kind of figured out that the short edge touches in the corners here and we leave the long edge for the squares, it became a little bit easier. So the main thing to keep in mind for this block is that with these directional petals, you need to have 4 facing one way and 4 facing the other. So I'm going to start by sewing these petal pairs together. Next up, we're going to sew these petal pairs around the square and then sew the seams between them. If your petal combination ends up a little bit longer than the square, that's completely normal because you've added a little bit of extra fabric in this seam here. So just center it and do the best you can. Now that I've sewn the petal pairs around the square, I've still got my thread and needle attached, but I'm just going to take the middle paper out to make it really easy to sew these joining seams. Next up, I'm just adding these little triangles to the squares to make these edge triangle pieces. Now that I've finished these triangle units, all that's left is to sew these edge pieces of the block all the way around the star. Now, I like to always start in a crevice when sewing squares or diamonds around a star, and that's because this part here has a lot more support, is much stiffer than trying to start at the flimsy points. And here's my finished diamond star block from the Red Sky at Night quilt. If you'd like to join us and sew along, you can buy the pattern Red Sky at Night in my shop, talesofcloth.com. Thanks for watching.